Many people are concerned about their online privacy nowadays, and with good reason. Third-party advertisers are writing things like web bugs and web beacons and third-party cookies on your computer in an attempt to track your online activities. Here's an example. Let's say you're reading a news story about how gas prices are expected to rise. As you go to other web pages throughout the day, you start to see banner ads for the Toyota Prius or the Honda Civic Hybrid. Is this a coincidence? No, you're being tracked. What can you do about this? Well, one of the things that you can do is you can install a free browser extension that will block these third-party trackers. In this video, we're going to compare the two most popular ones, Do Not Track Plus and Ghostery. These are available for browsers such as Firefox and Chrome. I'm going to use Firefox today for this video. It's not recommended that you run them both at the same time, so you'll be able to choose which one you want to install based on what you see in the video today. Let's start with Do Not Track Plus. This is the Do Not Track Plus button, and they use a green, yellow, red alerting system. In this case, they're notifying me, hey, we found 7 trackers and we blocked them. The green means we blocked them, everything's fine, you're good to go. If I go to a site that requires a login, for example Google or Facebook or some of the other social media sites, I'm probably going to see a yellow button. What yellow means is obviously caution. It means that they didn't spot any trackers, but that doesn't mean we're not being tracked in other ways. And in the case of Google, I've logged in, so they're going to track me by my login and by my search strings. So yellow means caution. Nothing was written to your computer that we had to block, but they're probably tracking you anyway. Now on to red. The New York Times has a red button pops up. Do Not Track Plus is saying, hey, we identified some trackers, but we didn't block them all for whatever reason. So WebTrends was allowed to go through. I have absolutely no idea, and quite frankly don't really care. I don't want a PhD in web trackers, and I'm going to trust Do Not Track Plus and say block what you want, click through what you want. I like the fact that for the most part Do Not Track Plus is set it and forget it. When I installed the extension, I didn't have to do any other updating to it. I didn't have to go into the options and mess around with anything. I just installed the extension and boom, I let it go. And in fact, if I really wanted to, I can actually make this button go away here, and so I don't even have to see it on the toolbar. Now you can see here, Ghostery pops up with a purple balloon with a list of all of the names of the trackers that they identified, which is nice, but again, I don't really care. I don't want to see these names. In fact, I would just rather you block them and not tell me about it. And that's the one thing that gets me about Ghostery. Even though it's listing all these names, all it's saying to me here is we identified these trackers. They're not saying we blocked these trackers. It doesn't come pre-configured to block the trackers. You actually have to go into the options and indicate that you want the trackers blocked. And they have them organized by categories, and you can actually just click 5 times to deal with every one of these categories. But the reason why they're organized in categories is you can actually expand the list and say, well, I want this one to go through or for whatever reason, or that one. I don't know why you'd want to do this, but if you do, you do have that granularity available to you, both for the trackers and for the third-party cookies as well. I personally don't care, but you may, and that's there for you. If you go to the Advanced tab, you can indicate that you want to move the purple bubble around, maybe lower right as opposed to upper right, and you can change the amount of time that it's on the screen, or, and this is what I would recommend, you make it go away entirely. So, Ghostery, you have to be a bit more hands-on with it, but it does give you just a few more options than Do Not Track Plus. In terms of the number of trackers identified, normally they're close. Sometimes they go one way or the other. It's kind of hard to tell for sure. I was under the impression that Ghostery seemed to identify more, but it's really, I can't guarantee that in every case that is true. So they're close enough that I don't think it's a big deal one way or the other. So now that's a comparison of Do Not Track Plus and Ghostery, and now you can make the choice of which one you want to install in your browser to block those third-party trackers.